Let's start with chapter 5. This chapter is all about cameras, and in this chapter we will learn how to create Cine Camera Actor and all its detail options, how to create camera rig rail and camera rig crane. So without further ado, let's start. So now in this new chapter, we are going to learn about the cameras. Now in this first lesson, we will go through a basic Cine Camera Actor. Now to add a Cine Camera Actor is quite easy. By the way, this scene you can download from the Epic Store. It's free. Or any other scene if you want to work on it, because we are just going to use the scene for the practice purposes. Now, what I want to do here is to add a camera. Now, to add a camera, simple, you just have to go to the camera options. By the way, this is the place actors. If you don't have it, you can go to the Windows and then you can choose the place actors option from here. Now here you will have a lot of different options here, and one of the option is the cinematic option. And if you will go to the cinematics option, you will see here there is camera rig crane, camera rig rail, like Cine Camera Actor, level sequence actor. So we will going to work on the Cine Camera Actor in this lesson. So I will take the Cine Camera Actor and I will just drag and drop it here. As soon as I will do that, you can see the Cine Camera Actor is showing in the outliner, and it if it is selected, it will show you from the point of view, the POV of that camera. So from here, I cannot see the camera because I'm inside the gaming mode. If I will press G on my keyboard to come out of the gaming mode, so you can see the camera from this side. Okay. So let's see where is the, oops, where the camera is. I think, did I deleted the camera or, oh yeah, by mistake, I deleted the camera. So let's, yeah, here it is. Here's the camera. Okay. So I can move the camera up and you can see how it is reacting the scene here. Let's do one thing. Let's turn off all the snapping here. Let's keep this angle snap, but rest I will close it. Now, if I'm moving the camera, you can see how it is reacting. But by the way, I have two different cameras here. This is not only two, like there are a couple of cameras here, which comes already with the scene. We don't have to worry about. We are just going to work on the one that we just dragged in. So if I'm moving it up, you can see the scene is moving. If I'm moving it forward and backward, if it's moving, okay. But as soon I come out of this, if I select something else, this preview of the camera doesn't show anymore. So if you want to pin this, what you can do, you can simply go to the camera and you see the preview here, and there is a pin option down here, pin preview. If you click on it, and now wherever I move, it won't you can say make this preview like disappear. So this will help me to move object around to see how the objects will look around when I'm using the camera. So this is how the camera preview will work. You can move back and forth, like left or right. You can up and down. You can also rotate, and this is how your camera actually works. Now, if this preview is too small or too big for you, so you can adjust this. You just have to go to the edit and then editor preferences, and here we can type camera preview. Okay, once you will write it, it shows like preview selected camera. So this is on. If you don't want to see the preview while you're selecting the cameras, you can turn it off or you can keep it on. The size of the preview is right now 5. So if you make it 2, it will become smaller, or 1, or whatever you want the size. If you increase the size, for example, if I will make it 10, and if I go here, you can see the preview is bigger. So if I will go here and make it smaller, like 1, so it will become tiny small one. So I hope this part is clear. So let me keep it what it was before, 5. So that's fine. Now, this is a, you can say, a third person mode. I'm looking at the camera here. I can control the camera and I can see how it looks like. But what if I want to see everything from this camera's point of view? So what I can do is that I can just simply go to this perspective option, and whatever cameras you have added will go to the placed cameras. So if I will go to the placed cameras, I can see all the cameras here. Now the camera that I placed is called Cine Camera Actor 29. So here is the Cine Camera Actor 29. If I click on this, so now I'm looking at the world from that created camera's point of view. So one more thing you can do is then in the perspective, make sure your cinematic viewport is on so you can see things more nicely. Now I don't want to see these symbols, so I can go inside the gaming mode. I can press G on my keyboard and that's all. And now if I'm moving around, I'm looking at the things from the perspective of the camera, like from the camera's point of view. So you can see how things are. I can go wherever I want here. And one more thing is that, as we discussed before, we can view things just like we view our viewport normally. Alt on your keyboard, then you can rotate with the left mouse button, or if you want to zoom in or out, then Alt on your keyboard, then you can go back and forth with the right mouse button. And if you are using a Mac, then instead of Alt, you can press Option. And if I want to pan, so Alt and middle mouse button. So this is how, like this is basic with the mouse. What if you don't want to use the mouse? So you can right click your mouse button and use ASWD key to move around. Okay, just like the keys that you use for the gaming purposes. So this is how it is moving around. And if you want to go up or down, so you can press E key to go up, Q key to go down, W for forward, backward. So this is how you can control your cameras actually. Now, let's see some more settings inside the cameras. And I will come out of this camera pilot mode. So I don't want to pilot this camera anymore. So what I can do here, if you'll see, this is showing that you are actually looking through that camera lens. So I can go out of it, just press here, and then let's go out of the gaming mode. I will press G, and here is my camera. Now, what I can do here is that let's go to the details of this camera. Now, there are a lot, but we will go through the one that are useful for us. So first of all, we have here look at tracking settings. What I do is that I can enable any object and that will become the focal point of the camera. So wherever the camera is going, it will keep its eye on that object. For example, this one. So what I can do is that in the camera, I can enable the look at tracking. And once I will click on it, it will ask me which object you want to track. So I can take a pick actor from scene, this dropper, and click on whatever I want to look at, like suppose this object. Now it will be keep on looking at this. So for example, if I move my camera up, forward, okay, left, you can see the camera itself. Just look at the camera when I'm moving around. The camera is just keep on looking at this object. Okay. So this is what this object is doing. Now, for example, if I will go to my, if I will pilot this camera back again, and if I move around, you can see wherever I go, it moves me back to it because it is trying to locate, it's trying to keep the camera on this object. Okay. So that's why it is always ideal if you're using the look at camera set option. You don't pilot the camera, otherwise you will not have a nice result. Always you will be getting some weird results. So it's always better to not use the pilot mode when you have the look at track on. So I can choose my local object-based gizmo. So I know it's like it will become easier for me. So now I can turn off this look at camera because that's enough for the look at camera. Now I just want to reset its like rotation, and then I will just put this camera next to here. I can go back to my camera, place camera 29. Just want to create a scene. So now I hope look at camera is look at tracking is clear. Now camera have a ratio like a film back. At this point, the film back I'm using is the default one, which is the 16:9, like digital film. You can change this to whatever you want. Like I can make a super 35 mm. I can make it like IMAX. I can make it uh, APS-C Canon. But I usually use a 16:9 digital film or film. So it gives me a nice result here. And that's what you can do with it. But if you want to do like a video for, you can say TikTok or Instagram, so you can go to the custom mode here and make your own size. Okay, like this is for the TikTok. Okay, this is regular. So what you can do is that you can work on this by default if you like, if you want to work on this one as you want. Now apart from the film back, we have lens settings. Now the lens here, we have we can like put our own lenses here. Otherwise we have here custom made lenses like 12 prime lens, then we have 30 lens, we have 50 lens. So different sort of lenses we have. Now we have lens like this one, 24 by like 70. If I will move to this lens, it will show me the minimal focal point is 24, okay, and maximum is like 70 So I can choose between these if I want, or simple what you can do is that if you go here and change the focal like the focal length from here, like suppose 70 minimum, this one 70 and this one also 70. So actually it will give me like 70 you can say millimeter lens. Okay. So how does it work? You just have to choose your 24 by 70, and just don't change the maximum focal length, because keep it till 70, and this is what you need to change. So if you want, you can change it to whatever you want, but I think it's better to keep it 70 as we don't want to go beyond the 70. You can go beyond, but it's then again it will become customized. It's your choice. I really like to use 30 lens if I'm using a normal shot, 50 lens if I'm using a close-up shot, and sometimes 24 or 12 if I'm using a wide angle. So for example, if I go to the 50 shot, okay, and zoom in. So what else I can do here is that let's make it higher, like 70, so we can clearly see how the depth of field is working. So let's go to the 20 here, 24, and make this one 70. Just I will zoom a little bit here. And you can see as I'm zooming in, the the signboard is becoming blurry. That is the lens settings basically here down. Sorry, like focus settings. Now lens setting is done. Now let's go to the focus settings. Now in the focus settings we have different methods. We have do not override, we have manual, we have tracking, we have disable. Now tracking, what it do is that suppose if I will go to the tracking one, and then if I go to the tracking focus settings here and take this pick drop and click on this object, so wherever my camera will go, like suppose if I go near, far, it will always keep this in focus. Okay. So that's how you can keep one object always in the focus. But what if you don't want to use the tracking shot, you want to use the manual? How you can manually fix this? To manually fix this, you have manual focus distance. Now, in the manual focus distance, you can increase or decrease with it like this, and you can see that how it is racking up the shot. Okay, this is now not in focus. The background is focused. Now the foreground is not in focus. The foreground is in focus, but background is not in focus. But if you having a difficulty to find out which is your focal point, so there is a draw debug focus plane option here. If you click on it, and when you will click on it, you will get the purple plane. So wherever is the purple is the area that is out of focus, and whatever is not in the purple, like suppose this area, this is the focus area. So if I will reduce my manual a little bit more, so that means now the whole thing is in focus. Okay. So this is how you can set up your camera focus like settings. Okay. Now, there are some post processing you can do inside the camera basically. Like suppose if you will go down here, you have post process option, and this this will allow you to if you suppose if you have one scene, and if you are applying the post process setting on the post process volume, the one that we used before, this one, if you apply any changes on this, this will affect the whole scene. But with the camera, if suppose if you have 10 different cameras, so each 10 different cameras can have 10 different post-process settings. So if you don't want the same post-process setting for the whole animation that you are working on, so you can use the camera settings. So for example, here I have here like color grading. I can do the color grading here. So for example, like suppose if I'm changing the midtone, okay, something like this. Let's do something weird. And now if I switch to a different camera, so I will not have that color setting here because that is only applied to the camera, Cine Camera Actor 29. So, sorry, not this one. Where is the 29? Yeah, last one. So because this is a different settings here, so that's why we have applied a different settings here. That's why it is showing only on this camera. So if you will switch it to any other camera, it will not show that. So the thing is, if you are applying the settings on the post-process volume, it will affect the whole scene. Even if you're choosing different cameras, every camera will have the same scene. So for overall, you can use post-process volume. Otherwise, you can use these settings inside your um, in your camera, the post process. So it's totally up to you if you want to use it. This is exactly the same that we used inside the post process volume. So you can work on this as you want it. So I hope this part is clear. So this is how you can add a Cine Camera Actor. Now, one more thing is that let's go out of the Cine Camera Actor and let's do one more thing here. Let's deselect everything. so that we don't get that preview anymore on the screen. So what I can do here is that suppose I want my scene to like one more, I want to create a camera that focuses on this shop. Okay, so let me select this sign of the shop, press F key on my keyboard so that it can focus on this. Now, this is my focus point. Like suppose I want this flat angle. Usually Wes Anderson, that the director, he uses a lot of flat angles. So I will use that style here. Okay. And then what I can do is that suppose I want a camera exactly looking at this spot. So I can go to my this burger menu icon, and here I have an option called create camera here. And if I will go to the create camera here and choose Cine Camera Actor, it will create a new camera with this viewport. Now I can go to this camera, which is called Cine Camera Actor 30, and now I'm inside the camera. Now what I can do to make this scene more flat, I can go to my lens settings here and then make this one very high value, maybe 120 mm. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit, because if you will make it, if you will increase the focal length, so obviously it will zoom in. So you can see now everything looks more flatter as my focal length is wider. So I'm using a very flat angle instead of a wide angle. So I hope this camera, like Cine Camera Actor, is clear to you now.
If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please do it now and don't forget to hit the bell icon. By the way, I have noticed that many of you are watching my videos without subscribing. So let's change that. Subscribe to my channel and be a part of the interactive community. Now, here's something really important I want to talk about. Please do not download my videos. Just watch them online. When you download them, it messes up my watch time hours. And that's a bummer. I want to keep creating awesome videos, but it's demotivating when I lose out on those stats. Thanks a bunch for your support. You guys rock. Catch you all in the next video.